Hi beauties, it's Corinne. I've got a new phone camera. I'm so stoked. Welcome if this is your first time, welcome back. If not, I'm gonna go ahead and jump in. So if you want more info about what's going on here, go ahead and go to the end of the video. Otherwise, I'm gonna go ahead and open up this connection with the Akashic Records and start with the channel message. Then we'll tune into the different options. I think we're gonna have 4 today. The different options to choose from there. Thanks for being here. My center with your center, our center with all centers, our center as the one center. I enter the realm of masters, teachers, and loved ones of Soulshift Collective and match our hearts and minds with theirs. Let us find through joy and wisdom the ability to open the universe and ourselves to greater possibility and deeper love. Eternal Source, fill our hearts with clarity and sacred power and show us the collective's place of balance. Hear us now as we become one with the whole. When we are complete, release us in love and admiration, keeping our energy raised. The records are open. Okay, loves. The first thing I see is it looks not like a dreidel, but like a spinner, not like a top necessarily. Kind of like if you've seen Inception, there's a token that the main character carries, and it is a top. You set it spinning and then it goes for a really long time, but it's a very smooth one-piece metal one. And the whole point in the movie is like it's something that he can check his reality with. It's something that he can kind of like understand the balance and counterbalance of what's going on. And the first image that I see is this spinning top, and it's almost like if it were really large and it were like those things at parks. It's not a merry-go-round, but like a carousel type thing. They usually don't have them in parks anymore because I think kids were getting hurt from them. But these spinning things, and I'm almost seeing like things coming on into your life, and there's a certain gravity that's going to pull what's meant to stick to you. I feel like there's this concept of speeding up, or, I mean, we are coming up to the holidays, so like slowing down. But anyway, this period of shift and change where things that have been on might be falling off, and things that might not have gotten a chance to jump on are trying to go for it, like this open transition time or this threshold moment. And I hear like stowaways. You get stowaways or stragglers, stuff like that, that try and make this time. But what I'm seeing is, if you're the top and life is just spinning, it's almost like magic. It's like the things that try and get on just can't stick. If you've ever seen those squirrel-proof bird feeders where they just like, the squirrels just can't, they either spin or they slide down. There's just no way for them to make it and catch on. And I'm really feeling this like divine protection for you at this moment of time of transition, shift, change, where it's like Teflon. It's like you've got the power of Teflon right now, and you don't need to be worried. I feel this sense of like worrying about like, well, what about the things that are supposed to stick in my life? Like, what if they fall off too? Like I'm speeding up, or I'm like coming to a stop, or I'm slowing down. Like the gravitational presence is shifting and changing, and I recognize that, babes. Like I recognize that, and what's yours will be there through it all. And the people, places, habits, routines, patterns that we're talking about here, it's important for those items and entities to find their sea legs in your life. it's really important. I have a feeling that there has been a lot of orientation of you to others, caretaking, like making sure that if the top is spinning in a certain direction, that you're compensating for it. And I just feel like it's no longer sustainable for you to go out of your way so much to compensate for other people's feelings, for other people's needs. You really just have to stay true to your own tune in this moment and allow others to find their balance with you, because you're going to be going through much more dramatic shifts and changes coming up in time. And you want the people who are meant to stay with you to be able to make it, right? So stop doing the heavy lifting and allow people to meet you where you're at. And guess what? They might slip off. They might lose their way. They might fall off, but they will be able to come back into your life and try again. And it's important not just for your journey of trusting that others can come to you, that others can see you, that others can get up to your speed, get on your level, right? We can be very egoic sometimes in this space, but allowing yourself to see that other people are on your level and can get and stay on your level. But it's also important for them to see that too, for them to do the work that they need to stay with you. Okay. Thank you for joining for Collective Message. Let's go ahead and tune into group 1, which is yellow, group 2, which is orange, group 3, which is green. And I hear red too, green, red. And group 4, which is 2. No, blue. Group 4, which is blue. And also symbolized by the number 2. So go ahead and take a moment. Group 1, yellow. I see a yellow circle and a banana. And also the sun. Group 2 is orange. Some might say the sun is orange. It's not, it's yellow today, friends. And I'm just seeing like a citrus orange. Group 3, which is green and a little bit of red. Very much that, like, I'm seeing, I feel like there are train signals that switch one way. They like green and red. It's almost something like this. Yep, that's it. And then group 4, which is a blue square and also the number 2. All right, my dears, so go ahead and use the info below to skip to the group that you need to, and I'll see you there. Okay, group 1. Okay, I'm seeing racing stripes or referee jersey, just this concept of sharp contrast in rapid succession. I feel, I know you've been going through a lot of, it's not even change. It's like on, off, on, off, on, off, on. I see like a flicking light switch, on, off, on, off. And a little bit of back and forth of like, if you've ever been to the optometrist or the eye doctor, it's like A or B, A or B. Which one looks better to you? I feel like you're kind of like, and then also I'm seeing, I don't know if anyone read Captain Underpants when they were little, but, or when they're a grown person, we don't know. But it's this great children's young adult book, and part of the book has, it's like a flip book page. And so you take a page and you hold the corner and you flip it back and forth really fast, and it almost makes like an animation, and it's so fun and interactive and honestly brilliant. A brilliant way to engage with a book. And yeah, and then also let's talk, sorry, we're just going to go through all of these because they all seem important. There's this thing called a phenakistoscope, and I know this because I did a like a science fair project on one, and it was, I think, the first like very crude or rudimentary moving picture. And it's this thing, it's like people have seen, like one of the most famous ones is a horse galloping, and it's basically like a circle, and then there's a dowel where you spin the circle, and you look only at the top edge through a slit, and you see these images in such rapid succession that it looks like an animation. It looks like something's moving. In this case, a horse, or it can be whatever you want it to be. And if you make it in a loop, it kind of cycles back. And that's the part that's important here, is with the phenakistoscope. The horse looks like it's galloping, and also reels do this too, right? Where you take a piece of video and then you split it a certain way so the end is the beginning and the beginning is the end, and it just goes on and on and on and on and on forever. I think you might have gotten caught in this space of the end is the beginning and the beginning is the end, and the contrast. It looks like it's moving, but really it's a set of stationary objects. It's a set of stationary images. I feel like you're creating life from something that doesn't really breathe. It's not breathing. It's an optical illusion. And I'm not saying this to dissuade you from your experiment or from whatever you're doing, or from like flipping back and forth between these options, right? You're learning something here. It's science, right? You're exploring something new. You are, I'm hearing like playing with and quote unquote altering reality. I don't think you're altering reality, my friend. I think you might think you're altering reality. But really, it's taking, it's just like how the phenakistoscope or the flip book, right, tricks your brain using your eyes. Yes, you're using your eyes. Yes, your eyes are open, but our brains don't operate, like your brain's not operating in that kind of way, right? It just, the brain's kind of letting the eyes see what they want to see. Yeah. Sorry, y'all. I feel like I'm getting red to filth sometimes. I hear that's it. There is more information for this group. The desire for you moving forward, coming back to that sun, is like cresting the horizon. You know, when it's like dusk, when it's like almost daytime or almost nighttime, we're getting very sciencey and technical, and I'm here for it. You know how it looks like black and white? And it's because I think it's rods that see black and white and cones see color. You have cones and rods in your eyes. Someone please correct me if that's backwards. But it's because we have more, like, I don't know if it's receptacles or sensors. This is where I'm getting fuzzy. We have more capacity to see light and dark in our eyes than we have capacity to see color. So when the light gets low, we have less capacity to see color because it's just not quite as illuminated. And the desire for you here, like the phenakistoscope, the running horse, Captain Underpants, like the flip book thing, like it's all black and white. And the desire for you here is to take you out of working with black and white and bring you into like full spectrum color. Specifically, like let the sun rise. Like you won't be so caught up in the optical illusion if and when you allow yourself to feel the full color of life, to see the full spectrum, to allow illumination, to allow joy to come into your life enough that you just experience love, like experience all kinds of complexity and depth and nuance and human emotion. When we allow joy into our lives, it adds a depth. Like, yes, sorrow can have depth, but it doesn't light things up the same way that joy does. And so I'm hearing like, okay, so what do I need to do to have joy in my life? I hear you. It's less about like, what do you need to do to make the sun rise? Do you have to do anything to make the sun rise? I feel like sometimes we're operating under the assumption of like, you know, parents would say, well, the sooner you go to bed, the sooner it will be morning. And that's not true, right? Time passes when we're sleeping. It's like the sooner you go to bed, the sooner Santa Claus comes and you get to open up presents, right? We've told ourselves lies of like, there's nothing that we need to do for joy to come. Joy will always come. Whether we choose to see it, or whether we're awake for it, or whether we open our eyes and allow ourselves to see it, whether we orient ourselves to the window, whether we trap ourselves in a basement, that's where we have the control. But joy will always come. Joy always comes. It goes away for seasons because that's its natural. It's naturally ephemeral. That's just how it works. It's like the sun. It comes and goes, not because we won't appreciate it without contrast, but we have an easier time seeing it when there is contrast. This is about to change. This is going to change because we do have, I'm hearing like the technology is coming into our happenstance. The technology is coming into our, I just feel like we're stumbling upon them. It's evolution, but it's more like we have arrived. You know what I mean? It's like if you get off a train and there's green grass out there, it's not like you probably took the train to get to the green grass. Maybe you did, but it just happens to be there, right? It's just where you're at. You got on the train to go to France, and here you're in France, and sometimes there's concrete and sometimes there's grass, and right now there's grass. So we're getting new technologies that allow us to attune to much narrower frequency definitions. Like I'm seeing, like if we're keeping with the black and white theme, if you shift to grayscale, and it's like you could previously have looked at a picture and been like, well, that's gray, it's just all gray. And now it's like the optometrist goes and like clicks between two things, and now you look at the same gray painting and you see that it's still gray, but it's like a whole bunch of different shades of gray. So you see like a landscape, and like, I don't know, it looks like the chalk art in Mary Poppins when Dick Van Dyke is like drawing those picture frames on the ground, and then it's like it's a whole world that you can immerse yourself into and almost like get lost in. And so we're getting the ability to recognize a lot of variation in the space between joy and sorrow, or joy in the absence of joy. We're getting a lot more information in that in-between space. All right, we'll pick up that later on. Is there anything else left for this group? That's it. Thank you, Group 1. I appreciate it. My name's Corinne, Soulshift Channeling. I read the Akashic Records. There will be a closing, collective message at the end that usually kind of ties things together. Feel free to check that out. And if you're looking for more clarity or support, find out how to connect with me below. Thank you. All right. Just clearing that out. Group 2, which was orange. Group 2, which is orange. I'm seeing like an orange cut in half, like grapefruit style, if you've ever eaten a grapefruit and it looks like a wheel when you cut it open a certain way to eat it with a spoon. I'm seeing the segmentation of your life, and I think it's laughable that we separate and segment our lives when really, ooh, excuse me, when the water that comes into the fruit, I hear gets unilaterally distributed. That's not what that means. I'm hearing that they mean unilaterally. I was gonna say like equilaterally, like equally distributed. But I'm hearing, does that make sense? Yes, it does. Okay. I think you're putting a lot of like unilateral distribution into a certain wedge in your life. Like you can try and put all good things in one section of your life, or all bad things in one section of your life, or I don't know, insert whatever you're trying to do here, where you're trying to just put all things of a certain kind in one section of your life. It doesn't work like that, friend. I love you, but it does not work like that. The water comes into the fruit and it gets distributed evenly. And in fact, if you try and not distribute it evenly, it's going to literally flow to the places that are lacking. So if you're trying to overload one section of your life and everything else is getting unfed, it just does not work that way. You're going to have to work so hard to try and fill that one section that you keep trying to fill. And truly, you're going to have to work so hard because the water's going everywhere else before you can continue to put it into that section. So, I think this is really just to say that I know you want to see growth in one particular area of your life. We all do. And the more sustainable way to experience the fruiting of life is to just feed all areas. I know it seems counterproductive because it feels helpful when we have a particular goal to just work towards that one goal, but what would be more helpful is seeing, let's take the goal of a job. I want a promotion at work, right? To reframe the goal that you have and to recognize how all areas of your life are supporting your quest for that goal, right? You might be like, oh, I don't care what I get from the grocery store this week because that's like whatever. Food is not important to me right now. I'm focused on being the best at work and getting a promotion. And it's like, girl, you know you're going to need to be well fed to perform well at work. So you can try and be seen and understood, and so you can go for that promotion, right? Confidence comes from a well-fed body, or confidence requires a well-fed body. You know, it's like the same thing of like sleep or friends, right? It's like, well, when you have healthy friendship relationships, that's part of interpersonal dynamics and your ability to connect with people. And even if you have a job where you aren't connecting with other people and it doesn't seem like it relates, it does. I promise you, it's about authenticity and truth in your energy flow, right? And if you're being a total butt in one area of your life, it's going to leak everywhere, friend. It's going to leak everywhere. So don't try and put all your in one basket and be like, oh, everything else is pristine. Like, I feel you. I've been there. Do I be there now? I don't know. We're going to have to listen back and learn. But the other thing I think I hear too is not only does it all come from one place, like you're trying to section and cordon things out, it all comes from one place, right? Like it comes, there's no separating out the colors from light in this experience. Like you can, but it doesn't change how much light has blue in it and has red in it. It doesn't change the source code. It doesn't change the source composition, separating things out, right? If you have a pack of Skittles and you separate them out by color, having all the red ones next to each other doesn't mean you get more red ones from the pack. It's just finite, right? That's just the way that it is. You have 7 red ones in a pack of Skittles, whether they're mixed up with all the other colors or whether they're separated out. And the last thing I hear is, and it's all going to the same place too. No matter what kind of, and this to say, like, you can keep compartmentalizing, right? It, again, and this kind of echoes the first group of, you're gathering information. Your habits and your behaviors give you information. I'm not saying that they're bad. I'm not saying that you shouldn't do them. I'm asking you if you are achieving your goal or moving yourself towards that goal, or if you're even enjoying your life, running the experiments, having the behaviors the way that you're having them. Are you, is partitioning things in your life bringing you more joy? Maybe it is. I don't think so. I think that you were getting joy from feeling accomplished and feeling like you're doing the right thing and feeling like it's what you're meant to do and you're checking boxes and you're getting societal approval. And that must make my life feel better. And I don't think it works like that anymore. I think that you've evolved beyond that. And I want you to continue to follow and track your behavior, but maybe mix it up. See what it looks like when it's different. See what it looks like when, and I feel like this whole concept is less about the end all be all, right? Like at the end of things, like all the Skittles are going to the same place. They're all going to your stomach, because if you divvy them up and you give the red and green ones to your friend and you eat the purple and yellow ones, and someone else eats the orange ones, we're moving to a place where the collective belly is still getting filled. We're moving beyond individuation. And so if you're like, well, I'll take all the good things and this person takes all the crap, and it's like, well, that's not how it works, because I am them and they are me. And it's just kind of, I'm hearing holding you up on the resorting process, because I don't think your goal is to, no, this is different. This is where we need to get like individually specific with each of you. So that's not going to work here. That's okay. Book a one-on-one if this is hitting and you need to know how it lands for you in particular. Book a one-on-one. But so yeah, it's all, we're moving to a collective space where it's all kind of going to one, it's starting in one place and it's ending in one place, and it don't matter how you differentiate it out. It does, however, give you a lot of information about your emotions, and it's mostly about your nervous system, because it has been training that has been passed down through generations. This sense of control, this sense of order, this sense of juxtaposition of identity. And it was functional for a very long time. It was functional to have a scapegoat. It was functional to have people who only did particular roles. But that's not where we're at. So, yeah. Let's leave that point and we'll circle back later on. Is there anything else for this group? I think you just need to get your sea legs. I'm seeing like the orange is citrus, scurvy, pirates, boats. the importance of getting your sea legs, that's what it's about. That's what connects to the emotional dysregulation of, oh my gosh, these colors, these Skittles, these things in my life can't touch, right? These groups of friends can't touch. These emotions can't touch. These foods can't touch. Whatever this is for you, and it can look many different ways, because energetic truth manifests in the 3D in so many different ways. These are a few examples, but you'll know how it fits into your life. And what happens when we have a habit that's with us for so long, we start using it as a marker of success, or as a security blanket, as a way to know that things are all okay. And it's so silly because things are shifting so constantly that there's no such thing as like knowing everything is all okay. It don't work like that. And I love that we thought that it did. That's beautiful. It's kind of like looking at your younger self and or a child and being like, oh, sweet one. Like, I know, I wish it worked that way. I wish it worked that way. And that's the energy that I want us to have with ourselves, is that we don't need to beat ourselves up about this. No, thank you. Like, we can have compassion, and we can have grace, and we can have a willingness to see the childlike innocence of our former selves, of our current selves, and say, I feel you. I feel you, sister. I feel you, little one. Like, that would be something else if it worked that way. But really, this is where we're at. And we are capable of living through dysregulation. We are capable of handling complex emotions. We are capable of handling 2 or 3 or all different colors of Skittles in one group together. We are able, we're able to feel complex emotions when someone passes. Relief after not having to caretake, and grief of having lost a loved one, and joy that they are not in pain anymore. I mean, that's a lot of emotion, right? And fear can come in. There's a lot of different ways to experience something, and we have evolved to a space where this again echoes the first group of, we are able to handle so much more nuance without it shutting down or overwhelming our systems. We just have to give ourselves a chance to integrate. And it might take a little bit longer. I hear it's not going to take much longer than what we think it is, but it might take longer than normal to be with ourselves through the integration process, through integrating friend groups, through integrating foods on our plate, through integrating experiences in our lives. And it really is just a nervous system regulation thing, and not a control. Well, control is kind of about nervous system regulation. All right, let's see. Anything else? I hear the song, we didn't start the fire, it was always burning since the world been turning. I feel like it's not important to place blame in this instance. Like, yes, we could go down the blame game. We could say how we got it from our parents, or how society tells us this. It's just like, and I hear all the different permutations of that, and it's like, we don't need to get caught up in that, because guess what? It's not our job to tell other people, or to tell the people who taught us incorrectly, because they're already learning it for themselves, and they also may be further down the road than we are. So, important to look to the parents, look to the elders, look to the system, the societal structure that gave us this rigidity, because I have a feeling that there are already hints of the next evolution in it. Okay, friends. Good luck. Let me know if you need more support. So glad to have you here. Collective message at the end. Link to connect below. And I'll see you soon. Every Wednesday. All right. Beautiful. Group 3. I've got shadows today because we're doing this at nighttime. Look at shadows. Okay, group 3. We see, the shadows are important. We'll get there. Red and green. Okay, this is very similar to the first group as well, of like, maybe I'll link it below, but if you don't know what I'm talking about in that original image of like, it looks like 2 metal circles and they are put 90 degrees, like they're like, if you cut a circle and then you cut halfway up, like make a radius mark, but with scissors, and then you do it with the other one, and then put the slots together so that way it makes a sphere, like a crude sphere. And you look at it one way and you can see the red circle and only catch the narrow end of the green one, and then you flip it 90 degrees and you see green and catch only a little bit of the red. 2 things can be true at once. Oh, my love, my heart's just going out to you here. 2 things can be true at once. It depends on which way the wind is blowing. Which I'm seeing like, that marker connected to like a weather vane. Is the wind blowing north-south or south-north? Or is it blowing on the east-west or west-east? 2 things can be true at once, my dears. I'm 2 separate but pinned together realities. Green means go, red means stop. Oh boy. Yeah, I feel you on this. I feel like there has been stop and start energy in your realm lately. A lot of stop, not a lot of start is what I hear. And now I'm hearing like Simon Says Go. Simon Says, playing the game of Simon Says. Like, your job is just to play the game of Simon Says. It is just to play the game of Simon Says, because again, you are tuned into, you're getting tuned into auditory messaging, new things that we are now able to hear. And it's not to hurt you, it's not to make you fail, it's not to knock you down, it's not to discourage you, it's not to dissuade you, but this stop-start energy is helping you challenge and develop your hearing. Who I was gonna say raise your hand. Who had hearing tests at school when you were little? I did, and they would put these headphones on you and you would raise your hand or this hand if you heard things, right? And from what I understand, it was more of a crude test. Like, it wasn't super specific. It wasn't super honed in. It just caught you if your hearing's really bad off. This is not the same way. This test that you're going through now, this development, refinement of your hearing process, and I'm very much like, the message that, or the information that I'm connecting with is like, I feel like either your guides or another person, or your telepathic connection is going to be like, yes, call now, or no, don't call. Yes, call now. And that it flips quite often. And it feels so much less about what it's saying or you actually doing what is said than it is about developing the connection. I'm going to say that again because it's still integrating. If we follow the hearing test where you've got the little earmuffs on and it's got loud tones, medium tones, and very light tones, it's less about the tone itself. And, or even if it were words, it's less about what the words are saying. It's less about the message and more about the brain development and connecting. I'm hearing like both hemispheres of the brain. And now I'm hearing like, I never know how to say it. I know how to say it. Binaural beats, like both ears. And it's again integration. It's an integration game. It's the ability and the capacity to hold two truths at once, right? It's like if you have a vision test, oh my goodness, my eyes look kind of tired today. I've been up for a long time. But if you have a vision test, like what your right eye sees and what your left eye sees are very, very similar, but they're not exactly the same thing. And part of this differentiation of how far apart your eyes are, it's part of what helps with your depth perception, right? And noticing like how far away things are, and it's important for your brain to develop how to handle information coming from right eye, information coming from left eye. I know we have dominant eyes, and same thing like with your ears. How loud or quiet things are. Like if you think of a real sound, it's going to hit you. Part of you knowing where that sound is coming from is it louder in this ear, or is it quieter in this ear? And I'm hearing now like the heavenly earthly split, right? I feel like there's different information that comes to each of our ears. I'm just going to throw this out there to pose this. This is not like gospel truth, but this is my experience of heavenly information or guide information or people information or earth information or past ancestors information coming into certain ears, and one ear and not the other. And it's time to develop a connection between both auditory inputs to be able to pinpoint the location and to, I'm hearing, understand the nuance and intention behind each tone and whistle. So again, eventually it will be important. I mean, it obviously is important what you're hearing, the information that you're getting. But right now, it's less about the messaging and more about the integrity, bandwidth, where it's coming from, and developing the ability to understand the intention behind what is being asked of you. Not just who is asking it, but what intention and energy, because I'm hearing this group developing into a more nuanced set of marching orders, where sometimes when we come onto a new job, they just tell you to shadow one person. If you're in a support role, if you've ever started like a new serving job, they're like, just follow this one person around, follow the host around, you know? Only one person is going to boss you around because it's your first day, and you don't need 5 different servers telling you what to do, because we don't know their intention. We don't know their urgency. We don't know how they operate yet, right? We don't know that when this person says, I need you to get this for me right away, that it's not actually that urgent. And when this person says, hey, would you mind doing this for me? That it's actually very urgent because they don't ever ask. You know what I mean? We haven't been calibrated yet. It's the same sort of thing where you're developing into a place where you can hear more than one thing, you can serve more than one group, you can be on more than one individual's team. And the important part of stepping into greater responsibility is prioritizing and delegating. You'll be delegating. You won't have to do it all yourself. Now I'm hearing the like Cinderella, if you've heard or if you've seen the Disney movie Cinderella, and she's, I feel like in the basement area, and there are all these different bells, like these bells that are attached to different ropes. So she'll hear the bell, she'll come to the thing, and she'll see like, oh, it's Priscilla, or it's, you know, Mother, right? And because it's important to understand who's making the request, right? And how to prioritize if you get two conflicting requests. That's what's happening right now. So this on, off, listen to it. Understand where it's coming from. I don't really think you have to do that much. I just feel like you have to know. I just feel like you needed to know the information of it's not always going to be this hard. It's also not always going to be this easy because you're not really having to do the things that are being requested of you right now. It's kind of like testing the system, right? It's like an email that says test instead of an email that has a huge task list in it, right? Different kind of email. So it's easy in the sense that you're not having to execute on a lot of things, but it's difficult in the sense that you're learning a lot of new things. You're juggling multiple information streams and multiple parties, and it's going to get both easier and harder as you go on in an appropriate way and when you're ready to do so. And that's it today, my dears. Thank you so much. Collective message at the end if you want to fast forward to that. If you want more particular source held guidance for you specifically, I work with people one-on-one, and you can just book in. Yeah. And gratitude. Big gratitude. Thank you for being here. Thank you for spending your presence and your time with me. And it's just been and continues to be an honor to learn from your energy stream. I'm so grateful for the opportunity to be of service to you and many others, and I'm just very grateful. I'm very grateful for it, and I'm very grateful for the opportunity to continue to grow and expand because of it. So thank you, Group 3, and all the other groups too, because that didn't come through there. But anyway, Group 4, also number 2, like hashtag 2. Ampersand is the @ symbol, right? No, ampersand is an and sign. Hashtag #, that's what I'm trying to say. #2. Hashtag 2. Blue square. I think it's important to know that there have been a number of readings in the past weeks with a blue square specifically. These might be important to you. They might not. Go find them if you would like to. All right, beyond that. Yeah, man. Okay, so talking about this blue square, I just feel like you are trying to use a blue square as a wheel. And you're just supposed to stay parked. You're supposed to stay parked right now, friend, because you're not working with wheels. I'm seeing, like, I don't know, the I hear Paleolithic. I don't know if they had, I feel like the Paleolithic era was dies. We're going to have to look that up. I'm just like very, 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 very early on wheel made of stone. Brilliant concept. Realistically, I feel like someone kind of stumbled upon a shape that was pretty close to a circle. And then they drilled a hole in the middle of it, and then they made it a wheel. I don't feel like someone started with a square or a cube and drilled a hole in the middle of it and tried to make it a wheel, because that would take a really long time. You would have to do a lot of work to turn that square into a circle. Meaning, like, I follow this Instagram account that shows this guy kicking a rock until it turns into a perfect sphere. And how long does it take? And the rock was not super jagged. It was pretty sphere friendly. And the rock has actually lost a lot of mass on its journey to becoming spherical. Because when you kick it so much, lots of parts come off. There's a lot of friction. I don't know what it is in your life that you're trying to make into a sphere. I don't know if it's a person, or if it's a job, or if it's a living situation, or if it's a relationship, or if it's your approach to doing taxes. I don't know. I'm not sure what that is for you. What I am sure of is that it might be easier to start with a circle than start with a square. Okay, that is short and sweet, my friends. All right, yeah, there is more for group 4. I hear you. All right, so the number 2. Not all the messages use their signifiers or to deliver information, but as for the number 2, I'm hearing like number 2, like bathroom number 2. And then I'm also seeing like mylar balloons. Mylar balloons are like the really shiny ones. You got to get rid of some dead weight to ascend, right? You gotta just slough off the stuff, the waste. You have to dump the waste, get rid of the waste to be light enough to transcend. I'm not hearing ascend, I'm hearing transcend your own limiting beliefs. And this begs the question of what in your life are you looking at as a square instead of a circle? What in your life are you looking at thinking, what jagged edges, what rough edges, what in your life have you, wheel chocks? Like if you ever have a car that rolls, or a trailer, or I don't know, like what they put under, it's a wheel chock. It's a triangle, and you wedge it underneath a wheel to make sure it doesn't roll anywhere. Ooh, Lordy. It's way easier to take a circle and add a triangle and make a square than it is to go the other way around. It's way easier to take a wheel or something that wants to move, something that has the ability to move. Add a triangle, which I'm hearing like Father, Son, Holy Spirit, Holy Trinity, like what did the Schoolhouse Rock one about triangles? I think it's I'm Just a Bill, because it, or no, it's 3 is a magic number. Sorry, 3 is a magic number. I hope that's not copyright infringement, is it? We're gonna find out. 3 is a magic number on Schoolhouse Rock. Look it up. It's so good. It's way easier to take something that wants to move, adding in the Trinity, adding in Mother, Father, Child, adding in 3 is a magic number, adding in a triangle, and letting it be. And then that has the effect of a square wheel, one that stays put. It doesn't move. It only rolls a certain direction. And it has the ability to move again if it needs to. Yeah. Sorry, I feel like it's not often that I have the sentiment of this is getting too heady for me. Okay, my friend, because I feel like the biggest juxtaposition for you is, do you want to be able to move, or do you want to be able to stay? And if you want to move, it's way easier to add something to stay than it is to take something that is inherently not built to move. And try and get it to move. All right, y'all. Click off if you need to, but stay with me if you want the rest of this to land. I want the rest of this to land. And it feels like just like meandering, like a winding snake, or like a serpentine river. It's slow moving. Rivers that there are rivers that are mostly straight, and then there are rivers that wiggle a little bit, and then there are rivers that go back and forth, that zigzag a lot. And there's this fantastic research paper called the River Continuum Concept, RCC, I think is in the early 80s. And it talks about a lot of generalizations that you can find in rivers. And basically one of the nuggets from the RCC is that the more serpentine, the more curvy a river is, the older it is. Younger rivers are more straight and direct. Older rivers have horseshoe bends, and there are some rivers that are very, very old where these horseshoe bends, like this, the serpentine is almost so much, it almost looks like one of those candy ribbons where the loops touch themselves, almost like circle back. And man, I need to start attaching visuals because I just want to put this into your brain. Maybe I'll link something below. But there are some rivers that it's called an oxbow. That curve is so severe that the river comes back. Goes this way, curves, comes back and touches itself. And then the water skips that loop because it's a more direct path to just come back. And then you have this, I think it's called an oxbow, this curve of a river that's no longer getting fed, that's disconnected from the main flow because it's quote unquote become obsolete, because it's no longer the most direct path of water flowing. I feel this a little bit with your reading, my friend. I feel like there is stagnation in a place that used to have flow. It's neither good nor bad. It creates a richness of environment that is quite unique and unusual to come by. And we are explorers, and we are so grateful to be exploring new and very, very, very old places. I do feel like you have an attachment, or you have an info flow that's ancient, in fact. And getting information from this place is less about words spoken and more about felt knowledge. And it's very much, you can just tell by the way that it is. I feel like, why are we trying to describe it in words? Because that's the habit and the stream and the routine that we are in right now. Is an info stream that we use, that I usually share with words. But this is more one that's felt in your body. And I want you to take a moment to connect with the earth and to receive the information that your body is told what to do. Beyond and outside of your brain. It's a lot about the way your body wants to move and the feelings inside of you and how that wants to come into expression. It's important, if you want to still be fluent in very old languages and very old ways of speaking and of being known, to continue to practice these ancient ways of knowing. In the age of information, I don't know why I roll my eyes. In the age of information, it's common to find things obsolete. And reading a riverbed, reading the sediments, studying a really, really, really old riverbed gives you an insane amount of knowledge. Whoa. And reading and having access to reading an old riverbed that's not currently experiencing a flow of water on it. Think of how much easier it is to access that sediment if it's in a lake, or these oxbows sometimes become like little ponds, or, not flowing water, but there's still water in it. And different life can grow there. Plants can grow that can't grow in flowing rivers. Animals can, it's a whole different experience. But basically, if you still want to dance with old spirits, you have to learn how to move your body from your form and not from your noggin. All right, my dear group 4, that's it for today. Do comment below and let me know how you feel. Gratitude always for the opportunity to share this information with you. Gratitude always for the access you give that allows me to experience this flow and to share it with yourself and others. Gratitude for the dance and the collaboration, co-creation, cohabitation And yeah, collective message to follow. If you want to work with me one-on-one, you can find out how to below. And yeah. All right, my dears, let's collect all together again. I'm going to go ahead and close out this connection and see any last bits that come through. In love and light, I thank our masters, teachers, and loved ones for their information and guidance. Amen, amen, amen. The records are closed. The last thing I see is like a concrete truck chute, like concrete flowing down that, and the sound of it as it plops, that like liquidy but still semi-solid sound. It's amazing what you can build with something that looks so liquidy. It's amazing the firmness of structure. It's amazing the longevity. The Hoover Dam's built with concrete, and the concrete didn't even harden on that for like decades. Like the inside of the Hoover Dam was like still liquidy because it was just made with so much concrete. They had to put these holes or like cooling systems in it so that way the concrete could harden, because it wasn't gonna, if they waited for each layer to harden before doing the next, it would literally take way too long. But all that to say, of like liquid being like the emotion of things, it's amazing the type of rigid, firm, very strong structure you can create from something that comes out of the truck looking so liquidy, you know, that essentially would operate like quicksand. Something that you would sink if you stood on it too soon. But with proper care, attention, and structure, concrete makes a great foundation. It is not a natural sediment. It's not like a rock, you know, but it is a human variation of, it's made of natural sediments, but it's a human variation of foundation and rock and limestone and structure. What's important to choose is if you're looking to build something man-made or if you're looking to experience natural life. That's the question. In this life, are you looking to build your home, to build the place that you live? Are you looking to build it on a human formed creation? Neither one's better or worse, they're just different, right? We come here to have a human experience. That's literally what we do. And it's so cool to see what you can build. And then some of us come to this planet to experience what is wildly natural and radically natural. You know what I mean? Are you looking to build your home on the rock and the dirt and the substrate, the earth that the planet provided for you? Perhaps less stable, less structure, more prone to landslides? Or are you looking to build on concrete, which eventually touches the earth and the ground and is still less, but still susceptible to landslides and natural disasters, cracking over time? It's just interesting. Two different approaches. Thank you guys for tuning in. My name is Corinne. I shepherd the brand and the experience and the soul of Soulshift channeling. My intention is to bring information to the people who need it, to clarify confusion, to deliver the most integritous, crisp, clean, and well-defined info that I have access to, and to empower people to step into their birthright and their own divine knowing, to help people step into their own connection with the Akashic Records, with God, with their divinity, with their particular expression of divinity, because you are here to be you and I'm here to be me. And part of me being here to be me is to witness and support and uplift and clarify, hone, redirect your experience and expression of yourself, because that is something that I have learned to and continue to practice to do. So if you are trying to become more of who you are and you want a spot, you know, like a spotter, you totally have it. I know you can do this on your own. Sometimes we want to check our reflection, and sometimes it's helpful to have a friend or to have a practitioner or to have another perspective or vantage point to correct and refine and more clearly define your own form. And that's what I'm here for. So I do Akashic Record readings. I work with individuals. I work with people in relationships, with people and their pets in relationships. Anything has a soul. So if you're shepherding another human or an animal or a business or a brand in the world and want to know how you can work in a more source-inspired way, I would absolutely love to help you with that and give you information that you need. So find out how to work with me below. Come back every Wednesday for another pick a pile and collective reading. And I'm just so grateful that you're here. Thank you for sharing your time and energy with me, and I'll see you soon. Bye.